So very good afternoon, one and all again. Our next speaker is Dr. Devesh Kapoor, lecturer, Dayaram Patel College of Pharmacy, Bardoli, Gujarat. Sir, I welcome you in our faculty development program. Sir has completed his BPharm from University of the Rajasthan, Jaipur, MPharm from Rajasthan University of Health Science, Jaipur, PhD in Pharmaceutical Science from Rajasthan. Also, Sir has guided two PhD students. Sir has 14 years of teaching and administrative experience. Sir has published 25 research and review articles, contributed several chapters in a book published by the Elsewhere and Bentham Science. He got grant of rupees 3 lakhs from the Gujarat Council of Science and Technology, which is known as the GUJCOST, for organizing the national seminar. He also received the grant of 2 lakhs rupees from the GSBTM for organizing national seminars. He got grant from 93,000 from AICT to organize the Atal FDP program for the faculty. He has served as a subject expert at Rafael University, Alwar, Rajasthan. Sir, we are heartily welcome in our faculty development program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible? Am I audible, Natik sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank AR College of Pharmacy and Dr. Natik sir for inviting me for this as a resource person in this AICT sponsored faculty development program. I would also like to thank Principal Jolly Parikh ma'am for giving me an opportunity to interact with the different faculty members across the India. So thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful opportunity for the interaction. And I would also like to thank AICT for organizing, for giving the grant and organizing this faculty development program. So I would like to start my session, sir. I'm presenting my session, sir. Okay. Yeah. Sir, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so today my topic, what I have chosen, like transformation of teaching learning approach, and specific emphasis on the modern pedagogical practices. Yeah. Okay. So
प्रसाद कसं काय दिवस काढायचं अवघड झाली बाबा. त्याच्या आईला गेलं.
So this is the objective of the presentation. Like, what is the need? What is the need of this kind of online sessions and like online pedagogy? So it is the need of an hour, or we can say it is very much needed that we have to be interactive with the new technologies which is coming. So first object is empowering teachers with the innovative and modern pedagogical tools. So first things, the teacher should have the knowledge what kind of the different kind of tools which is recently in the market, or we can say recently is coming on, so that we are having the sound knowledge regarding those tools, and we can use those tools and to improve our teaching, or we can say to improve our content knowledge, or we can deliver the content in a better and efficient way to the students. Altering teach. Is it visible, sir, or is there any problem?
It's visible, sir.
Visible,
Hello.
visible.
Okay.
Visible, sir. It is visible.
Right. There was some actually noise, so that's why I asked. Okay. 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 So altering teacher-centered passive teaching learning process to student-centered active teaching learning process. So what we have seen, like in the last so many years, like the teaching was passive. So we are going to convert into the active teaching. So how we can convert into the active teaching, which will be the student-centered. And earlier times we can see that the teaching was passive and it was teacher-centered. So that is the main objective, that we have to see and we have to focus how we can deliver best to the student so that the student can get maximum from the teacher. It is like no doubt that teachers are delivering their best since so many years, but there is something like students are not getting those things completely. So that how we can improve those things so that student can get maximum from the teachers. So student active or student centered active teaching, this is the main objective. Preparing teachers to use effective teaching practices in the classroom. So what kind of teaching practices we can use, that we can use into the classroom, and or we can say it is online, so that we can deliver the content effectively and deliver effectively, and also student can get the 100% output or 100% things what the teacher want to deliver. And is escalating the student engagement through interactive and collaborative learning. As ma'am has also discussed, there was a cooperative learning and collaborative learning. So definitely different strategies are there. Inquiry based learnings are there, project based learnings are there, problem solving learnings are there. So different kind of learnings. So by that we can increase the student engagement through in the class, or we can say online. So these are the different kind of learning process by which we can increase the student engagement, which is a very important part in teaching, because students are not very much engaged. If you are talking about a whole class, so definitely we can say 20 to 30% students who are intelligent or who are having good cognitive skills. So definitely they are engaged. But if you are talking about the entire class, so definitely diversity of students are there. So students are coming from the different backgrounds. Some of the students are coming from local areas, or we can say like some are coming from English medium schools and some are coming from the local boards. So we have to engage all the students who are in the class. So that's why our strategies, or like the learning process should be like that, so that we can engage all the students who are present into the class. Enhancing learning outcome by using learning management systems, blended teachings, and digital platforms. So specifically there's that offline to online, what is the main topic. So different kind of LMS it is available that we have to use, and different kind of blended teaching is also available, and digital platforms, lot of digital platforms are available. We will see in the next few slides how we can digitally we can create the content, how we can animate the things, how we can create the videos, how we can cut the videos. So different kind of how the assessment we can do, online assessment softwares are available. So a lot of pool of content are available, but we have to interact, or we have to learn those things so that we can deliver to the students in a much effective way. So as the music, dance, drama, acting, and painting, along with all the traits related to our aptitude, are the foundation of the pedagogic culture over the generations. So if we are talking about like what we are learning, how our aptitude is developing, and what are the foundations, so all these are definitely study is a very important thing, but all these things are like music, dance, drama, acting, painting, all those things are very important for the holistic development or overall development of a student, and the traits which we are developing from this, so that is the foundation of the pedagogic cultures since from the generations. This is the important thing, like which I would like to emphasize, that purpose of education is to empower the students through the knowledge, skills, value, attitude, and aptitude for their all-round development, physical, emotional, mental, and cultural. It is called the holistic development. So we should try to develop the student as a whole, and a lot of things we should try in the class, so that we can see where the student can perform in a better way. Definitely someone is good at some part, someone is good at some part. So if the holistic development, if we'll see that scenario, definitely lot of students who are not good at the studies, definitely they are good at the some other part. So knowledge, skills, value, attitude, and aptitude, all these things we have to develop in a student. So we can say the all-round development we should try to inculcate into the students. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. What actually, if you are talking about the education in India, that is like we are learning the facts, but we have to train the mind to think. This is the very important thing. Rote learning is there, we can say, but we should try, or we should give the time to students to think. When they are studying, they should ask the reasons why it is happening, why it is going on, something like that. Children must be taught how to think, not what to think. So we have to tell to the children's, like from the starting and from the beginning, like how to think, not what to think. So how it is going to be done, that is a more important thing. They can develop much more cognitive things like in that way. Unfortunately, in India, there is a lot of emphasis on teaching, but hardly on effective learning. So that is the important thing. We can see from it's not about the college level, but we can see from the root level and from the schools. So definitely we are emphasizing on teaching, but effective learning is there or not, that is we are not emphasizing on those things. So effective learning is a very important thing, where if we are going to the offline to online also, so we have to see what are whatever the things you are using, either LMS or CMS or different kind of softwares, either effective learning is there. Those parameters or like those softwares are effective. Students are getting what do you want to say and what you would like to communicate to the students. They should get the 100% from your content. So that is, we can say, effective learning is there. Now a little bit about the what is pedagogy and what is andragogy. That is some common things. Just I would like to little time for those things. So pedagogy, if we are talking about the basics, so word come from the Greek root, which is called pedos, which means child, and agos means lead. So literally translated to lead the child. So that is the word comes from pedagogy. And for some time it was called as the art of teaching and science of learning. But now this is out of date, and now the modern definition of the pedagogy is changed a lot. And now we can say it is a cultural process. So pedagogy, as it is a cultural process to bring out the all innate abilities and nourish the acquired abilities of a child through a systematic and planned manner. So as we have discussed, like music, drama, painting, all those things. So it is a cultural process. Pedagogical process is a cultural process to bring out all the innate abilities what the children have or what the child have, and nourish the acquired ability of a child. And we are trying, and we should nourish the acquired abilities what the children is needed through a systematic and planned manner. We should use systematic things and planned things to increase or to like enhance the abilities of that particular child. So this is pedagogy. And andragogy is something like adult leading, or we can say adult learning. So that is from the Greek, literally means adult leading, as opposed to the pedagogy, which is a child leading. So andragogy is little bit of opposite from that. The definition, we can say the art, science, profession of teaching adults, that we can say it's andragogy. Knowles, 1973, stated like adults, which are opposed to the children, tend to be the self-directed learners. They have a vast knowledge base that can be tapped, rely on the peers as resources, are motivated to learn in order to solve problems and apply what they have learned. So this is the definition which is given by Knowles for the andragogy, that because they are the adults, so they are the self-directed learners. They are also having a vast knowledge which can be tapped, or like they are rely on peers or their teachers or maybe the resources. They are motivated to learn in order to solve problems and apply what they have learned. So definitely, like, they can solve the problems, and like they are the teachers or the resources are motivating them to solve those things, and they can also apply in the real life situations also what they have learned. So some educational researchers will use the term andragogy when examine post-secondary school education. So this is like educational researchers use it, they are using this term also in the school education too. Now, what are the need of the modern pedagogical techniques? So now our topic specifically start with what are the modern pedagogical techniques and what is the need of that? So 21st century teacher, definitely it's not very easy task. It is a very tedious task, we can say, and the competition is very more, and you have to excel to the different areas. Definitely, a lot of people who are who has joined this FDP, they are good teachers, as well as they are also having the administrative responsibilities, or they are having some other responsibilities. So definitely you have to excel specifically if you are talking about the academics. So 21st century teacher, it's a very hard task to be. So technological enabled learning. So what are the new technology is coming up? You are having a lot of idea regarding the different kind of technology and how it is related to the learning, and how you can deliver and how you can use those technology to deliver your content to the students. Again, active learning. So active learning, very important, as passive learning and active learning, how it will be active, right? What kind of technology is the right technology you should use, so that you can be the active, actively you can teach to the students, and your students will be actively learn those things in your class. Different learning styles are there. We will discuss like different learning styles. So that is also we have to focus on. Student diversity. As I have said, like a lot of students are coming from the different backgrounds. Some of the students are coming from English medium schools. Some of the students are coming from the rural backgrounds. Some of the students are like we can say the language problems are there. So a lot of student diversity is there. And also, if we are talking about the online, so online definitely we are delivering the lectures to the students of the different state. Maybe if you are taking a lecture, or so student diversity is there. How we are going to face this challenge? How we can cope up with the different students who are coming from the different backgrounds? Motivation of the student. Through the entire class, it is very difficult to motivate the student, and also active we can say. So motivation of the student, again, it is a very big challenge of a teacher. How, and it's not about the single student, because like the 60 or 120 students are in the class, so maybe definitely 10 20 25 people are motivated, but like what is the rest of them? So we should try something so that most of them should be motivated, and most of them should connected with us. Engagement of students, again the same thing, a little bit like how the students are engaged with the class, or maybe they are, if you are asking something, or if you are asking some questions, or if you are asking some kind of are they replying your answers or not? Or maybe they are asking some kind of questions. So definitely if the student is engaged, definitely he will ask some queries, or he will ask different kind of things in between of the class. So the engagement of the student is very important, especially if you are talking about online learning. And accountability. So accountability is another is a big we can say the need that we have to see. So that is the need of the modern pedagogical techniques, we can say. These all are the things are required. Now coming to the next point is pedagogical cycle. How we can say this, it includes the verbal exchange between the teachers and their students and classroom organization. So if you are defining how the pedagogical cycle, actually what the verbal exchanges is going on between the teachers and their students and the classroom organizations. So this is all about the one we can say the pedagogical cycle. It is also divided into the 4 things like structure, question, respond, and react. First thing, teacher provide information, directions, and introduce the topic, what we are doing into the class. So it is a part of the structure. We are creating the structure, we are giving the information, we are teaching the things, we are giving the directions like how you are supposed to do these things, and we are introduction, we are giving the introduces the topics to the students. Then teacher asking a question, teacher raises the question, teacher asking like, what do you understand what I have taught you? Then the student answers the question or tries to, and then responding. So we can say the student tries to give the answer of the things what they have learned recently. React, the teacher reacts to the student's answer and provide feedback, and again teacher will react on the student's answer, like whatever the answer of the student, definitely teacher will react on that, either it is correct or not, or maybe what will be the correct answer. So and also he can also correct to the student. So this is the pedagogical cycle, we can say. It is divided into the structure, question, respond, and react. Now, need of the modern pedagogical techniques, we can say earlier times, we can say the learning pyramid is there, where the student retention rate we can see. And that is, it is most of the peoples have learned about Bloom's taxonomy, and this is very important, like in the today's scenario. So earlier time, we can say the student retention rate, it was through the lecture 5%, we can see reading 10%, audio visual 20%, demonstration, discussion, practice doing, and teach others. So we can say maximum retention rate what the student are having, like that is 90% by teaching others, we can say, or practice doing. These are the things by which they are having the those things. Bloom's taxonomy, so there are the some it's LOTS and HOTS, that is like high order thinking skills and like lower order thinking skills. So these are the things which are very important, and in the today's scenario, HOTS are very important, like analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So in that way, we have to teach to the students, and like we have to engage them so that they can analyze, they can evaluate, and they can create. So definitely these things are very important in the today's scenario. And if we'll see the lot of competitive exams are there, so cognitive skills are very much needed. So earlier times, we can say that remembering, understanding, and applying. So these are the terms, or like we can say these are the things which were the time has gone for them. Definitely little bit the importance are there, but more importance are there for the analyzing the things, evaluating the things, and creating the things. And these are the some verbs by which we can have an idea, like how we can analyze, like if we are comparing, contrasting, examine, and organizing the things. And if we are testing, criticizing, judge, so we are going to evaluate and create, design, build, and invent or produce. So HOTS are very important in today's scenario. This is like the Bloom's taxonomy. Little bit the justification is given, like remembering. Definitely, we are retrieving the prior knowledge from long-term memory and using the connections to add in the current understanding. So whatever the prior knowledge we are having, and we are having the long-term memory, we are using those things to try to understand the things, or we can say we can add those things to understand the current scenario or current things. Understanding like includes using strategies to draw conclusions from current information. Either we are summarizing or interpreting the ideas, comparing meaning from the messages, or interpreting both oral and written text. So that is like how we understand the things. We can use different kind of strategies to draw out the conclusions. Applying, definitely what we have learned now, this is the time to apply those things. So require implementing the procedure for learning. So use information in a new but a similar situation. So definitely we should use, or we can use those information in a similar situation. So that is, we can apply the things. So implementation of the procedure for learning. Analyzing, it entails the dividing information into meaningful parts while we are ensuring that the parts remain relevant to each other and the overall goal. So if we are analyzing the things, so we are dividing the information first into the different meaningful parts. So, and also we have to ensure that whatever the division is there and whatever the parts, definitely they should be relevant to each other, and whatever our overall goal is, that it also related to that thing also. Evaluating, we are assessing different information and on the outline learning criteria and make judgments. Whatever the specific criteria are there, whatever the learning criteria are there, we are assessing the things on the basis of that. and according to that we are concluding, or we are making some kind of judgments. Last is creating, as involving organizing the ideas into a new structure to form a coherent pattern of understanding. So here we are generating some new ideas, or we are organizing the new ideas, and we are into a new structure, so that a new form or coherent pattern of understanding we can make it. So this is very important, creating, organizing the ideas into a new structure to form a coherent pattern of understanding. So these all are the Bloom's taxonomy. Now for passive to active learning, what are the things we can do? So group discussion, collaborative learning, and peer learning should be used as a pedagogical techniques. So passive to active learning, which is an important part. So group discussion, definitely teacher should make some kind of discussion with the students, either in a groups, either in a small groups, or like in a big groups. Collaborative learning we'll discuss later on. And peer learning should be used as a pedagogical techniques. Student diversity, we are having slow learners, fast learners. To cater slow learners, self-paced mode of having videos which can be paused, rewind, and seen for many times, it will help. So student diversity is very important part, where how we can cater those things, or how we can entertain the learners. So if the slow learners are there, we can provide different kind of online videos to them, which those videos they can pause, they can rewind, they can learn so many things again and again by watching those kind of videos. So this is like very important, and that is a very good thing, like in a online teaching for the slow learners. Student engagement, by taking a pause in our lectures, or by arranging group activities, or by clickers. Online, definitely we will also see some kind of different things what we can do for the student engagement. Whatever the things we are discussing in a class, or delivering in a class, so we can take a pause, and definitely we can raise the questions. We can send some kind of polls also, and we can create some kind of group activities, so that we can came to know that students are engaged into the class, or just they are listening the class. So learning outcome will be more by providing learners different learning choices. So this is very important, that learning outcome will be more by providing learners different learning choices. In the today's scenario, we can see most of the students are they are on online platforms and social networking websites like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. So how we can deliver the things so that they can learn the things? Our objective is like how we can create the things, and that those things should reach to the student by any manner. If that platform is suitable, or that platform is compatible with him. If we are talking about 5 to 10 or 15 students who are like intelligent, who are doing good, so it is not about those, it is about those who are backbenchers. So definitely how we can deliver the content so that it should reach to those people actually. So we have to be also interacted, or we have to learn how can we create the content, and how we can post those things which the learners can use through those kind of platforms. So learning outcome will be more by providing learners different learning choices. So different learning choices we are providing to the students. Okay, if they are not compatible with that, definitely you should change your strategy, and you should try something else, so that maybe they can learn from that particular learning strategies. They can learn fast, or maybe they can learn easily. So that we have to change our strategies, so that we can create the things, and like it can reach to the student 100% and more than that. Here are the different type of learners and learning styles we can see is some of the learners who are good with the visual things. Some of the learners are auditory, some of the learners are kinesthetic. So different kind of learners are there, as also we have seen slow learners and fast learners, except that some of the learners who are good with the visual things, who are good with the auditory things, who are good with the kinesthetic things. As if you are going NDA, National Defense Academy, they are taking different kind of exams of a student. they are taking different kind of exams, and where they are giving different kind of tests which are based on visual, auditory and kinesthetic. So when definitely once you have cleared the examination of National Defense Academy, after that when you are going for the interview, so there are the different 8 stages are there for the interviews. Except your medical and physical examinations, they are checking how good you are, how good your cognitive abilities, how good you listen, how good your kinesthetic activities. So all these things, because a cadet is like a complete package, we can say. So that's why different kind of examination they are taking off. So different type of learners, as we can see in our class also. Some learners, they can good visuals, like if they see something, they can remember those things quickly and they can remain those things in their mind. So we should use some kind of PowerPoint presentations. We are using pictures, graphs, videos, articles, illustrations. So definitely those things will help, and the content can reach to the student easily. Auditory also, some kind of students, if they listen something, they can keep those things in their mind, and it will long lasting in their memory. One-to-one conversations, podcast is available, videos definitely is there, group discussions and oral presentations. Maybe some of the students, they can comfortable with those things. So we have to judge that in our class, what kind of learners, what kind of people what kind of students we are dealing with, and what are their learning styles, how they learn fast. Kinesthetic, definitely some kind of hands-on activity, role playing, note taking, meetings. So these kind of things, like if we are providing some kind of role playing, definitely some kind of case studies, we can say, so that students can learn those things faster in a class. So that we have to change our strategies. We have to change our strategies to deliver our content to the students, so that we can see something, what is our main motive, or what is our main objective to deliver 100% our content to the students. We can achieve those things. Active learning, passive learning, that is a very important thing. Passive learning, what is it's gone like now. Active learning is very important. Student centered learning, we have to focus on that. Students should be actively engaged. We have to increase the learning, whatever the things you have to use, like technological advancement, or maybe the different softwares are available, whatever the things we have, and we have to change the things. It's not like that we have chosen something once and like we are not going to change that. We have to see how we can get the maximum output, what are the content we are delivering, either it is reaching to the student to the 100% or not. Student taking up the responsibility of the learning. Role of the teacher is a facilitator. That is a very important thing, is facilitator. Earlier it was a teacher role is commanding, or we can say it was a commanding role, but now how we facilitate the things, that is the role of the teacher in the active learning. Again, higher order thing is skills are achieved. HOTS should be achieved. That is the main objective, or we can say the active learning. High retention of knowledge, that is also important. The knowledge what we are providing, it should be high retention. That was earlier pedagogical techniques. We can see the different mediums we are using: lecture, chalk and talk, here and passive. Videos, we are having LCD multimedia, we can see, we can hear, and also it is passive. So definitely animations, presentations, demonstrations, all we can see here and see and hear. But student learning, we can say it is the passive learning. So conventional pedagogical techniques, all these techniques we can say, but it is the passive learning. We can see it's not much the active learning. So different pedagogical techniques based on the various theories. There are the different theories are also available, by which we can see that the different, first is activity based. Here the technique of teaching through action, in which the learner take interest comprehensively and realize effective learning practices. So activity based, the name is sufficient, like what are the different activities. So technique of teaching through the action, in which learner take interest comprehensively and realize effective learning practices. So they are learning something from the activities. Experiential pedagogy, it means learning from the experience, or learning by doing, we can say. An example of experiential learning is going to the zoo. Suppose you are going to the zoo and learning through observation, and what are the interaction with the zoo environment, as opposed to reading about the animals from a book. So definitely if you are experiencing something we are taking the students, like I belongs to the pharma background, so taking the students to some plant. So specifically they are watching like the compression machines or something like that, so how they work exactly. So in that sense, like the experiential pedagogy, it's like they are really going to that particular place and they are watching live those things. So that is, we can say, socially situated, that is called interpersonal relationships. Situational, it is, we can say, the great emphasis on the relationship and interaction with others in order to build the understanding. Students work together, they are discussing their thinkings with other group members. So everyone, they are having the different ideas, everyone are having the different thinking. So they are using their, or they are bringing their unique knowledge to that particular situation, and they are encouraged to challenge the thinking of others. So that is, we can say that socially situated learning, it's like the different people are there or different students are there and they are discussing something, and everyone is putting their own perspective regarding a situation, and they are discussing and they are changing their ideas, or they are encouraging the challenge, the thinking of others. Like if someone is saying it is something like that, then why? So definitely that kind of a learning is called socially situated learning. Constructive pedagogy is based on the idea of student actively construct or make their own knowledge, and that reality is determined by your experiences as a learner. Definitely, if you are doing some kind of self-directed leading to design, or you are hands-on, you are doing something, so that is actively they are constructing their own knowledge, actively constructing or actively doing something or making something by their own knowledge. That is. Then cognitive pedagogy is asking students to reflect their experiences, finding new solution to the problems. There are some kind of problems, existing solutions are there, but is there any possibility how different solutions are there? So they are encouraging discussions about what is being taught, helping students. They are exploring how the ideas are connected. Different kind of ideas are connected, and how the cognitive levels, how we can increase. So that is like different kind of solutions of to the existing problems, that cognitive pedagogy. Behavioral pedagogy, we are focusing on behavior modification, how a person behave, and how behavior things we can include into this. So common example of behaviorism is a positive reinforcement. Maybe students, they are getting a small treat if they are getting 100% on their test. So definitely we can do that kind of a small things in a class also, if we are rewarding something. So definitely if you are giving something like good grades, or maybe you are giving some kind of small rewards, or you are giving you are writing some kind of excellent things in the notebooks. So students are getting something, okay fine, I am getting something. So that's why behavior is changed. So behavior is changed. So definitely in the future, student work hard on those things for their test in order to get the reward. So definitely he will try harder to do something. So we are not supposed to give the negative comments to the students who are not doing well. Definitely all the students are not same. Sometimes like sometimes it happens in the class, like we are giving our best, the teachers are giving their best, but the students are not responding as the teacher is expected. But if we are going to give the negative remarks or the negative things to them, definitely they will be demoralized. So we have to motivate them. No issues. Definitely it is very difficult for us to change for ourselves first, but we have to motivate the children, and we have to give a small positive attitude to the children, so that you can do it, right? So in that way, like behavior, it's also important in the pedagogy. Now there are some terms which is going to be used in the next coming slides. So that's why here that's active learning. If you are talking about, so active learning pedagogical techniques, if you'll say, so cooperative learnings are there, collaborative learnings, group discussion, problem based learning, inquiry based learning, project based learning, case studies, role play. All these are the active learning pedagogical techniques which are required in today's time, and which we should have the knowledge regarding all those things, and we should apply those things in our classroom and online things, so that we can get the maximum benefit and we can deliver the maximum content to the children. So here are the some terms which we can say the content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and technological knowledge, because these three things we are going to use in the next slides. And so first is, what is the content knowledge? Definitely describe what the teacher's own knowledge of the subject matter. Different faculties are there, they are having from the different backgrounds, computers, engineering, maybe mechanical, or maybe some pharmacy. So they are having the different backgrounds, all the subject matter they are having, and also include the knowledge of concepts, theories, evidences, organizational frameworks within a particular subject matter. So they are having the sound content knowledge regarding their subject, so that they can apply those things with the pedagogical and technological knowledge. Pedagogical knowledge, it describes how the teacher's knowledge of the practices, processes, and methods regarding teaching and learning. So what kind of different practices or methods or processes the teacher is using, or teacher are having the knowledge of those things or not. So PK, if we are talking about, so it consists like the purpose, value, and the aims of education. It may apply to more specific areas if you are talking about student learning styles, classroom management skills, lesson planning, and assessment. So this is the, we can say, the broad area where the pedagogical knowledge we are going to use with. So the faculty should have these all kind of knowledge. So it is very important, if you would like to implement something, first you should have the entire knowledge of all those things. You should have what kind of methods, what kind of processes, practices are there, how we are going to classroom management skills, lesson planning, all those things. We should have a clear knowledge or clear idea regarding that, so that we can combine those things: content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and the last one is a technological knowledge, where we are talking about the teachers. They are having the knowledge of ability to use various technologies, technological tools, and associated resources. So technology, definitely in today's era, it's very important as we are doing the things online. So different technologies are available, different technological tools are available, and we have to use the technology with our pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge. So if we are using all these three things, definitely it will be a good thing for the students, and students are getting very better content, very better and very easy things, and they can it will be easy to learn to the students if we are having the good knowledge of all these three things. So as I said, like active learning, pedagogical techniques, different techniques are there. If we are like amalgamating that pedagogical and content knowledge, if we are mixing those things, we are having PCK, which is called pedagogical content knowledge. So what is PCK? It describes the teacher's knowledge regarding the foundational areas of teaching and learning, also including curriculum development, student assessment, and reporting results. So we are mixing two knowledge, pedagogical and content knowledge, and we are framing this PCK. Next is technological based pedagogical techniques. What are the different ICT based pedagogical techniques? We have presentations on LCD, Wikipedias, problem based learning, podcasting, voice threads are there, blogging, YouTube, interactive smart boards. We are creating animations, creating videos, content management systems, LMS are there. So all these are technological based pedagogical techniques. So here technological knowledge and content knowledge. Definitely content is important. So content knowledge is there, and we are adding with the technological knowledge. So it knows as technological content knowledge. So definitely understanding of your technology, how sound you are with the different kind of technology we are using to deliver the content or deliver your knowledge, that is TCK. So it involves the subject matter. It can be communicated via different technical offerings or edutech offerings, considering with the specific edutech tools might be best suited for specific subject matters or classroom. So definitely according to your content, because the teachers like different, we are coming from the different background, or as the different faculties are there, engineering, medical, pharmacy, nursing. So what the content you are going to deliver, and what will be the best platform for you to use that particular technological equipment, or we can say technological things. So technological software, we can say that. So what is the best platform for yourself to produce or to give your content to the student? That is very important. So that is technological knowledge, and we are mixing with the content knowledge, and that is called TCK. Technological based pedagogical techniques. Now, earlier we have seen content. Now we are mixing with technological knowledge with the pedagogical knowledge. Earlier was TCK, and now it is TPK. The student response system, gamification, discussion forums, and wiki boards. These are the 4 things which comes under the technological based pedagogical techniques, which is called TPK. So here technology is there. So definitely how the teacher understanding of particular technologies can change both the teaching and learning experiences by introducing new pedagogical affordances and constraints. So tools we are using in the appropriate manner to development, or we can say discipline of the lesson at hand. So that is pedagogical knowledge we are including with the technological knowledge, that is TPK. Blended pedagogical techniques, where all the 3 techniques we have added: technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. All the 3 knowledges we are combined with, or we are mixed with, which is called TPAC, technological, pedagogical, content knowledge. Station rotation blended learning, lab rotation blended learning, flipped classrooms, virtual classrooms, and MOOCs. So all these are the examples of blended pedagogical techniques. So the name is blended. So definitely we have mixed all the 3 parts: technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. So it called TPAC. It serves as a measurement of the instructor knowledge, potentially impacting both training and professional development, offering for teachers at all the level of experience. So definitely, what is the instructor knowledge? So one can measure that, and how it impacting both training and professional development offerings for teachers at all level of experience. So whatever the experiences they are having and how it is potentially impacting. So it is a measurement of this, that is called TPAC. And also it is a framework which is useful for the ways in which it explicates the type of knowledge most needed in order to make technology integration successful in the classroom. So TPAC, by that you can also whatever the right technology you can use. So it applicates, explicates the type of knowledge most needed, which is mostly needed in order to make the technology integration, right? What the right technology you can integrate to produce your content, and how you can mix all the 3 things in an effective manner. So that is by TPAC, that is a very important tool to find out for this. Now, cooperative learning, as the earlier ma'am also has discussed, so I am just going to talk about little bit about the cooperative learning. So cooperative learning, as we are like in the small teams, we are dividing the students, and each student of the different level of ability employ a variety of learning activities to enhance their understanding of a subject. So examples I am going to discuss about cooperative learning. Like first, if you are talking about group discussion, that is very known. Then jigsaw. What exactly the jigsaw? In jigsaw, we are dividing the students in the group of 5, and each student they are getting a subtopic, and each student will taught the topic to other students. So that is we are doing into the jigsaw. So the next one is that STAD, Student Team Achievement Division. Here we are a group of 4 members. They are meeting, or they can meet. Topic will be assigned to this group. One topic will be given to that particular group, and then topic will be studied and taught within the group. So the students, whatever the topic is given to the students, they will be study that particular topic, and it will be taught within the group. And when the individual person they are having the mastery on that particular topic, then a quiz will be arranged by the teacher. A quiz will be arranged by the teacher, and all the students, they have to attempt the quiz individually. Scores will be taken for ranking in the class, and whatever the scores in that particular quiz, so on the basis of that we are making the ranks for that. So that is the student team achievement division. That is the one. Then team pair solo. Team pair solo, the question is given to the team, they discuss it, and the topic which has been given to them, that will be taken only between two students. So team pair solo, the question that is given to the team, they will discuss that. Then the topic which has been given to them, it will be taken up only between two students by making a pair. They will once again discuss that topic, and then you have to perform individually or solo. So that is called team pair solo. So question is given to team, but the topic is given to them. It will be taken up only by the two students. They will discuss those things, and they are making a pair, and then individually they have to perform it. Then we can say the round robin. Round robin is the brainstorming session takes place at the table, and whatever the points and they are gathered during the discussion, we are writing those points on a paper, and those are presented in front of the class. So that is the activity, or we can say the round robin. Then think, pair, share, we can say that as the teacher poses a question, then gives time to all of them to think. Once the thoughts are jotted down by the students, or they think like whatever the response is, then they have to turn to a partner, or you can say two students can come together and exchange their thoughts, and whatever the solutions they have come to, it will be shared to the whole class. So that is that's why the strategy called think, pair, and share. So first they have to think, they have to jot it down the thoughts, then they have to there will be the pairing of the two students, and then it has to be shared. So these are the cooperative learning, which the different examples we have seen. The next is collaborative learning, is an educational approach to the teaching and learning that involves groups of the students working together to solve a problem or complete a task or create a product. So here it is an educational approach where learning is there, where we are involves group of students who are working together to solve or to find a solution, or they are completing a task, or maybe creating a product. Again, there are the different examples how we can do the collaborative learning, or how we can exemplify this. The first one is like the stump your partner, write up, pair, catch up, think, pair, share, round table, and fish bowl debate. So stump your partner is like student take a minute to create a challenging question based on the topic discussed in the lecture. Then a student pose the question to the student sitting next to him. Then student has to give the answer. So that is, we can say stump your partner means the nearby student, you have to ask the question and then he has to deliver the answer. So that's why stump your partner. Write, pair, share, or think, pair, share, we can say that as teacher poses a question in the class, student think and turn to partner to share their responses. So and then they share to the whole class. So this is think, pair, and share, or we can say write, pair, share. The students can write the things, or they can share the with their partner, and then that particular student is going to talk about, or they are going to share to the entire class. Catch up, here like teacher stops at a transition point and have students to turn to partner and clarify any questions regarding whatever they has been taught into the class. So that is catch up. Next one is roundtable. Then another strategy, which is like brainstorming sessions or of the ideas at the table, takes place on a given case or any scenario. We are going to discuss about those things. That is called roundtable. Fishbowl debate, where the students are asked to sit in the group of 3. The role is assigned that the left side person and the right side person debate on the given question. So definitely we are here is the debate is there. So definitely the debate is going on between the left and right side of the people who are sitting over there. And while the middle person is referring, or it is acting as a referee. So that is called, we can say, the fishbowl debate. So that is collaborative learning. And different example out there. Inquiry based learning, and the diagram: first, orientation, question, explore, solution, and presentation. So here we find that students are oriented towards a particular topic. Then the question is given and they explore the various answers. So we can say, like, from the orientation, it towards to the conceptualization, questioning, hypothesis generation. So that is the thing that we are first. Question is given to them, or the teacher is given those things to them, like what will be the concept, and like how we create those things. So how hypothesis generated on that particular content. Then the next point is, then they can investigation, exploration, and data interpretation. So exploration, we can say that they can go to the library, they can search onto the internet and strive to find the solution. What will be they can explore the data, and then after that, solution. They'll find the solution. What will be the solution of that particular hypothesis, and like what? So investigation, they are investigating those things, they are exploring those things, they are interpreting the data, and they are trying to reach a solution, or they are reaching to a conclusion, we can say. And the last one is presentation. Whatever the solution they are finding and whatever the conclusion they got it, so they are going to present those things in front of the class. So that is, we can say, like discussion, communication, and reflection. So in the lastly, they are communicating those things, or they are describing or explaining those things to the entire class. So that is the inquiry based learning, which is divided into the 5 parts: orientation, then first question, then exploring, then solution, and presentation. The next one is a project based learning, where it's also related to the learn by doing. Because as we said, project, so definitely we have to do something. So it consists core subjects with the real life problems to be solved. So whatever the core subjects we are having and what are the actual problems we are having in the real life, so we are correlating those things and we are learning from those criteria. Student work in a teams to create a final product that demonstrate mastery of the content standards, and a demonstration of the key skills such as communication, critical thinking, and collaboration are also there. So definitely, if the students are working in a team to creating a final product, different kind of communication or different kind of skills are needed. You have to be well communicated, because like if you are in a team, you have to talk to different team members. Critical thinking is also important. Every person, they are having the different kind of ability or skills. So they can think and they can discuss whatever regarding the problem is given to them. And also the collaboration is also needed, so that they can collaborate that with each other, and that the outcome will be good. So they have demonstrated the mastery of the content standards and the demonstration of key skills. So all these key skills we can get the demonstration if their students are working in a team. So that is project based learning. It's a learn by doing of activity. Problem based learning. The next active learning, the problem based learning is first we are formatting a group. A separate facilitator, or we can say a teacher, is allocated to that particular group. A specific case or is given or presented to the student. Discussion with the peers, they can discuss with those things with the faculty member or the facilitator who is appointed. They are identifying relevant learning outcomes, whatever the learning outcome from that particular case studies or case is given to them. So they are going to identify that. Then self-study. So they are doing the self-study regarding those things or regarding the problem or case study which is given to them. Resource sharing. Also, like they can go to the library, they can search the thing, or resource sharing like that, they can work on those things and they can take the data from something else where whatever the thing like is available on the books or maybe some other materials. proposing a solution. After that, they have to jot it down the specific solution regarding that particular case which is given to them. Presentation of the solution to others. Also, we are presenting that specific solution to others. And lastly, evaluation is also done by the facilitator. So the teacher who is appointed, he is going to evaluate that particular thing, whatever the solution is given, and is it right, and how much percentage it is correct, or whatever the corrections could be done. So evaluation is done by the facilitator into this. So this is like problem-based learning. Now, technological content-based learning, this is the second point what we have seen, and different interactive smart boards are there, Google Slides, sheet forms are available, Wikipedia, search engines, presentations, all LCD. So these all we have seen already, or like we are using it, those things. Podcasting, that is something not much people are using, which is a very good thing, and which is a very good technological advancement, and we can use it. So podcasting, it's like episodic series of digital audio files that a user can download in order to listen. So specifically, if we have seen like the type of learners, if like audio skills is good, so podcasting is a very good example, and like they can download the different kind of files, digital audio files, they can in order to listen. It is a free service that allows the internet users to pull audio files from a podcasting website. Blogging, again, it becomes one of the most popular ways of communicating and spreading information and news. Whatever the new information you are having, and you would like to communicate those things and spreading information, either it is in a form of news or something else, so definitely you can write a blog. So blog begins as a personal mini sites that people use to record their opinions, stories, and other writing, as well as photos and videos. So blogs, a lot of blogs you can see on the internet is available on the different matter or different things. So these are the personal mini sites that people are using to record their opinions, whatever the opinions they are having for the different kind of things or different perspective, and stories and other writing, as well as photos and videos also. The next one is content management system. It is a software application that can be used to manage the creation and modification of the digital content. So content management system, it's very important, like how we are managing our content. So that is how we are creating it and how we are modifying it, the digital content. So WordPress and Drupal are the examples by which we can create our content in a effective manner, and also we can modify our digital content. Student response system, how we can get the response from the students. It allows the instructor to ask the questions and gather a student response during a lecture. So if you are talking about online, WordPads, clickers, and Mentimeters are there. So it gives the instructor, or instructor can get the responses and quick responses at the same time from the students during a lecture. So these all are the examples by which they can get the quick responses from the students. Gamification, again, it is a software which we are using for applying game mechanics to non-game context in order to boost engagement and successful end results. So gamifications, a lot of faculties are using to engage the students, because it is the very good thing how we can engage the students with the content what we would like to deliver. So game mechanics we are using to the name game context. So the theoretical content what we are having, and how we can mix the theoretical content with the game mechanics, so that student engagement, how we can increase this. Discussion forums and LMS are there also there. Online discussion forums are also helping the students to review the material prior to an assignment or exam. Different kind of discussion forums are there where the students can get, or they can discuss their problems, or they can get the solution regarding the different things. So discussion forum is also very good, engaging students in the discussion of course material before coming to the class. We can also make some kind of discussion where before coming to the class, a student can discuss something, and like they can also raise the queries and they can ask into the class. Learning management systems, we can create the test and discussion forums through LMS, disseminate lectures through videos, again it is repeated, and then we are managing the records, whatever the records of the students we are having, or so that we can manage those records by using different LMS. We will see the example of LMS in the next slides. Now the blended learning, that is very important. The flipped classroom, we have seen the virtual classroom. So it is a pedagogical or educational approach where combining the traditional teaching methods in a classroom settings with the e-learning technology, such as online courses, lectures, presentation, quizzes, games, and many more. So traditional teaching methods, what we are having, the classroom settings with the e-learning technology, that is called blended learning. It optimizes the use of in-classroom learning with an online environment. So whatever the in-classroom learning, we are using it, and we are mixing with those things with the online, then so it optimizes maximum benefit we are getting it from the blended learning. Training comes from both the teacher and the online learning modules that work together compatibly. So the teacher and the online learning modules that work together compatibly. Teacher definitely what is teaches and whatever the knowledge he is having, and what are the benefits of online learning. Both things it will be blended, and definitely both they can work compatibly, and also they can increase the efficiency through the online learning. Here the station rotated blended learning, what exactly this model is, station rotation and lab rotation. There are the two learnings are there. First is like station rotation. Station rotation is the teacher organizes the student into groups within the classroom. So this is the basic difference between the station rotation and lab rotation, where here the students into the groups within the classroom, where at least one station is a computer based learning experience. There is a one station where like the student can use the computers, that is the computer based experience is there. These groups, it can be fixed, it is upon dependent upon the teacher, like if they want to be fixed that particular group, so they remain same each day, or maybe the learning styles, whatever. So it is the teacher compatibility, or whatever the teacher is thinking, so that he can keep the group fixed or change, he can change the group. One group of the student is engaged in the independent online learning, while the teacher facilitates activities for another group. Thus, by the example, we can see that the station rotation, one station is like teacher-led discussion, another station is group discussion, collaborative summary. Then station 3 is online task, 2 is research video with the question, and station 4 create something individuals, like create a slideshow, write an essay, create a video, create a podcast. So that is like we can say the station rotation, but one station is compulsory for the online. So that is the station rotation blended learning. Second one is lab rotation. Station rotation model where both offline and online activities take place in a one and the same class. But the lab rotation requires the learners to physically change the rooms. Here you have to, or the learners have to go to the another room where the station rotation, they are doing all the activities in a single class. Learners spend one part of their day in a computer lab working through the online curriculum or whatever the things which is given by the teacher. Another part of the day they work in a class with the teacher to reinforce what they have learned in the lab and can cover tricky questions. So whatever they have learned into the computer lab, and the next day they can discuss with the teachers, or if they are having any kind of problems, they can get the solutions with the teachers, or any kind of difficulty they face with the content or the curriculum in the computer lab, they can discuss with the teachers. So it is beneficial for those students who cannot access online learning at home. This is very important, like most of the places, like the students are coming from the rural area and they are not having the good internet facilities at their home. So definitely they can use the computers at the college, and at that time they can learn something new things. So it is mainly beneficial for the students who cannot access the online facilities at their home. So the next one is we can say the flipped classroom. So we can say the traditional classroom learning approach, before the class, in the classroom, and after the class, we can see the learners come to the classroom based on the topic and schedule given to them. Whatever the things is given to them, they are coming with those things. Instructor or the teacher is going to deliver the lecture in the classroom and provides with the study materials. And after the class also, the learners are giving practice exercises or homeworks are given to them and activities to enhance their learning. So this is the traditional classroom learning approach. We can see in the flipped classroom, before the class, the learners are giving study material to read and assimilate the learning content. The content is given before the class to them, where they can study those materials also and assimilate their learning content. And after that, they are coming to the classroom. The learners discuss the content with their peers and the instructor. Here the discussion is there. The learners are discussing the things with their faculties or with their teachers or the instructors. And after the class, again, the learners check and confirm their understanding by doing further learning activities. So learners or the students, they are confirming what they have discussed. So they are doing something. They are doing some task specifically. So understanding by doing further learning activities. So this is the flipped classroom learning approach. And the last one is a virtual classroom. Virtual classroom is a digital learning environment which allows the teachers and students to connect in online in a real time. So this is the difference between flipped and here, that is online in a real time, that is we are talking about the virtual classroom. Virtual classroom utilizes video conferencing, online whiteboards, and sharing to allow the educators to hold live lectures and discussions with the students in an interactive setting. So these are the different examples. We can say the video conferencing, online whiteboards are there, and sharing the screen. So these things allow educators to give or continue their live lectures and the discussion with the students in an interactive settings. These classrooms are mainly replicate the experience of physical classroom with the added benefits, where the teachers can share the files. They can take the instant feedback from the student. They can interact with the student, and they are ideal in the distance learning situations. Virtual classrooms, basically the cloud-based learning solutions, that is mainly the part of LMS. So these are the description regarding the virtual classrooms, which are the blended learning, mainly the example of blended learning. So this we are going to skip it, and next I talk about one thing regarding the LED. If we are, this reflection spot is very important if we are making some kind of videos, or if you are generating some kind of the content. So you have to put the reflection spot into that. Reflection spot is a question for the learners in between the audio, which makes the learners to think and reflect. So here we are putting whatever the content you have delivered to the students. So suppose 3 or 4 slides you have delivered. After that, you can put a reflection spot where one kind of question you can given one kind of question is given to the learners, what they have learned from the earlier thing. So that is a question for the learners in between the video, which makes the learners to think and reflect. It is sometimes it is monotonous, like they are just watching the videos. It should not be like that. There should be the reflection spot in between the different videos. So whatever the thing they have learned, there should be the question related to that. So reflection spots, why it is important to the learner. They can pause the video, they can reflect or preceding the content, express their thinking also. Whatever they have learned, they can think and they can give the answer of that particular question. So do micro practice of the covered content. So whatever the content they have covered, they can do the little bit of the practice on that. So if we are making some kind of the like educational videos or something like that, we should put reflection spot into that. So lastly, I'd like to talk about, or I'll just show this because as the time is going to finish. So these are some softwares, or we can say some things which is next is So iStudies is also there, which is a planning app for the student, which is developed by the Microsoft, which is totally free. And it helps a learner keep track of their plans with easy to follow organizations and presentations. So the students can keep their plans, their study plans or how they have to organize those things and how they has to present this. They can also make their block style calendars, also their timetable. They can also do their iStudies. So these are the very some important thing for the students. Notability is also there, where they can take the notes developed by the Apple. They can also annotate the PDF images and documents and GIF files, and also they can record the lectures. And because sometimes it is difficult for the student to take down the notes while attending a lecture. So by using Notability, they can record the lectures as well, and they can listen those things or later on. Study Blue is also a powerful study assistant that help in cutting the stress of the student. Free learning quicker app that is study material available in form of study material, include flashcard, notes and guides. So whenever the students are free, or maybe they are waiting for someone, or maybe they are not doing something at a outer place, so they can use in the mobile also in form of flashcards. So they can do the study by that kind of apps. EasyBib is also there. Again, it is a like intuitive information literacy platform which provides the citation and note taking and research tool, specifically the students who are making projects or they are making some kind of research. So EasyBib is also good platform. It helps the educators, students learn how to become effective and organized researchers. So you can use the different kind of things which is given into this app for the research purpose specifically. Go Conquer is also there, which is a personal learning environment which allow the student and teachers to create, discover and share learning resources. So Go Conquer also, the student and teachers as well, both they can create and they're sharing learning resources. Digital library is also available for the users. And again, it is also some flashcards, mind map, notes, flowcharts and quizzes are also there in Go Conquer. So these all some this LiveScribe EcoSmart Pen is also good. It is a good technology for the student because it saves your time. This smart pen card record everything. Either you are writing or you are hearing. So after recording notes, you can send these notes to the computer because it is a 2 GB memory in this pen. So you can store the content while you are listening or writing. And after that, you can shift the content into your computer or laptop. So this is also very good EcoSmart Pen. And some lastly, software for the teaching learning process. Here just the small tables I made, and also some web addresses also included, which you can use if you would like to creating images and charts. So MindMaster, Snipping Tool, Awesome Screenshot, IODraw, Lucid Charts and Live Charts. Those all are the softwares which we can use to creating images and charts for your educational content, what you are delivering to the class, specifically for the, we can say that visual things, or like visual learners, they can learn things quickly by using all those things. Rubric creation. Rubric is also very important, how you are going to assess, assessment is done. And it's also an important part in the NBA also, how the rubric is, how you are going to evaluate the things and how you are going to assess. So rubric creation, a lot of software tools are available, and web addresses also I have included. iRubric, Rubric Maker, Quick Rubric, RubyStar, Teachnology, Teacher Planet, then ThemeSpark. All these are the very good softwares, and mostly are free. Mostly are the free softwares which you can download from the net, and then you can make your rubrics regarding the content what you are going to deliver to the student, and how you are going to assess those things and how you are going to evaluate those things. Presentation also, we have Google Slides, WPS Office is also free, Sway, Canva, PictoChart, Prezi, Mentimeter, Zoho Show, Zoomit, Slides. So different, all these things, softwares are available for the different presentations. Animations. Animation also very important part, like how you can engage the students by using different kind of animations, which is Animaker. We have Pencil 2D, Render Forest, Powtoon, Blender, Synfig. creation of videos. Again, as we have discussed, like you can send the videos to the students in that LMS. So MS PowerPoint, Screencast-O-Matic, OBS, Cam Studio, Lumen 5, Bandicam, Epic Pen, Prezi, Flashback Recorder. So we have to use all those things, or maybe any 2 or 3 software, so that we can make the adaptability, and we can make the good videos we can share to the students, and they can learn like in a much better way whatever the previous learning what we were doing. Editing videos also, we can edit the videos. So these are the different softwares like Format Factory, VSDC, Movie Maker Online, Lightworks, Audacity. By using these kind of tools, we can edit the videos. And website creation also, that is also important. If you would like to create your own website where the students can come, and like a lot of people, anyone can visit your website, and you can put the content on that: WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Tumblr, WordPress. So that is the different softwares we can use for making our individual website on which we can upload the content. Interactive and collaborative works, then Padlet, Wikis, Pinterest, Scoopit, Google Drive. So these all are the different softwares what I told you. And in the last, like some tips for online teaching. First, we have to think what LMS we are using for our online classroom. The important thing is that we have to choose what is the correct LMS for my online classroom. Deliver the course material at the start of each week and set clear due dates. We have to deliver the content, whatever we are going to teach weekly. And we have to set the clear due dates, whatever the due dates, and when the student are supposed to submit their assignment, or when the student is supposed to be ready for some small exams or something like that. We have to organize course materials into the modules. Definitely 1, 2, 3, 4 modules are there. So it should be student should get the clarity, like how many modules are there, and whatever the course materials are divided into the modules. So we have to properly organize all those things. We have to prioritize student communication and collaboration. That is important. Like student communication and collaboration is very important, so that whatever the things we want to deliver, it should reach to the students in the 100%. It should not like that whatever the things we are delivering, but it is not reaching to the student. So communicating with the students and with the collaboration, we have to make it as a priority, and establish clear office hours so the student know when, where, and how to get help while working remotely. We have to mention when they have to do it, or like when we are going to take the lectures, or when they are going to get the things. So it should be clearly established, so that they can get the clear idea if they are working remotely. So these all are the tips if we are teaching online. So this is all regarding my presentation. Thank you so much. Thanks once again to Dr. Naitik Trivedi and Principal Ma'am, Jolly Parikh Ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
A very good informative session. There are so many participants raise their hand. So if any doubt, then you can ask directly to the sir. The session is open for the question and answering.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Turn on your video, sir.
Sir, that is, yeah, actually there is a little bit, I don't know, the connection problem is there or something like that. It was open. Yes, any question is there, so please.
Yeah, can you please brief upon the rubrics?
Rubrics, ma'am. Yeah,
actually, from my point of view, the rubrics is for assignment. We can actually give a rubric. Then again, we can give it for a test also. How can we bring something like, can we do it for group discussion or something like that? Any type of innovative way of looking into rubrics? Can you give some insight on that?
Ma'am, actually, rubrics, so it's depend upon your, like, suppose you, whatever what kind of the group discussion you are doing on, right? It depends upon like how you want to evaluate your content towards to the students. So that's why the innovative way, that is, it's not something like that, but how you are going to evaluate the things, it is up to you. You can make the questions according to your, like, what kind of content you are going to deliver. So on the basis of that, we can frame the rubrics. It is something like that. So whatever, like, suppose if I am going to deliver something in my lab, so I can frame the different kind of evaluation parameters. Like on that parameters, I can evaluate the students or assessment. I can do it. It is something like that.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please share your presentation with us, sir.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do it, sir. Definitely.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, Natik sir. I
So-
hope it is. Yeah.
So, Dr. Devesh Kapoor, sir, in a very deep sense, given the presentation on transformation of teaching learning approach, modern pedagogical practice. Sir has covered the many points which will be helpful for us from the passive to the active teaching. Sir has stated many tools and many software which will be useful for the teaching learning methodology, and through which we can improve our teaching learning process. So I am very much thankful from the entire team of the faculty development program. Thanks again to giving your valuable consent and time to us, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks once again. I would like to thank AR College of Pharmacy, Dr. Natik Trivedi sir, Dr. Jolly Parik ma'am, and the entire team of AR College of Pharmacy for giving me the opportunity to deliver or to interact with the different faculty members across the country. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I request to all the participants
Thank you,
kindly
sir.
on
Thank
their
you, sir.
video, so we can take the picture. Sir, kindly end the presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello. Shivan. Yes.
I request to all of you kindly on the video. There are many senior person with us, and it is our pleasure to know each other. So we would like to be a session after the all day at the last session. Uh, Participant has to present about their professional career near about 2 to 3 slides. Is it okay for all? Because we are from the different area and from the different states, so it is essential to know each other. Santosh
Yes,
sir,
sir. That is fine, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Kusum madam, Dr. Sachin sir, is it okay? There is no any kinds of the assignment because we all are the faculty member. So we have not keep any kinds of the assignment for our community. There is the one test after the completion of the FDP. Sushil Kumar sir, is it okay? 2 to 3 slides for the each and every participants about their career. Okay, now the
I think it's okay, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay, sir. Good.
yeah. So now the first day of our FDP is completed. We will join tomorrow with the same link, and already I have sent the schedule to all the faculty. I have sent the schedule into the WhatsApp as well as into the email also. So have a nice day. We'll meet tomorrow. Thanks. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, here
Sir.
there is the one
Thank you, sir.
token of love
Thank you,
from
sir.
our side.
Thank you, sir.
Due to the network problem, sir, I am not able to present the certificate of appreciation. We will send you it onto the mail, sir.
Okay.
Devesh, sir. Okay, so we'll join tomorrow. Meeting is over. Thank you very much.